Okay, as I've started to say before, our next speech is going to show us how to hone in on your God-given talents. How many of you know what your natural talents are? How many of you see people who are miserable and unhappy in their current work? How many of you feel like you're not good enough and focus too much on your weaknesses? How many of you see people who are not living up to their full potential? Tricia is going to show us what it means to focus in on your natural talents and how to use your strengths in everyday life. Please give a warm welcome to our next speaker, Tricia Lawler, presenting her speech, Strengthening Your Talents.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. A year ago, I had a life-changing moment. I took a class on how to figure out my top 5 talents and how to focus on them and use my strengths in my everyday life. This class was based around the book Living Your Strengths, which I brought today. It was written by Donald Clifton and 2 other authors. And Donald Clifton was the father of strength psychology, and he was the grandfather of positive psychology. So how many of you have grown up believing the weakness prevention model, where you've been told that if you want to be successful, you need to fix your weaknesses? That when you fix your weaknesses, then you'll be a well-rounded person, and then you'll be successful. Well, I am personally the queen of analyzing my weaknesses and trying to figure out ways of improving myself. And it's really exhausting and miserable too. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's a better way of thinking. I'm not saying that you should completely ignore your weaknesses, but your primary focus needs to be on your God-given talents. After realizing this theory, I stopped being so critical of myself and realized that maybe this isn't my strength, and I learned to move on. I'm so much happier now, and I'm not so hard on myself. And I started to appreciate my natural talents more and realize I have something to offer other people that people need and want. Talents are naturally reoccurring patterns of thought, feelings, and behavior. Talents naturally exist within you, and they cannot be acquired. They are inborn predispositions, and they are things that you instinctively do naturally and that give you great satisfaction. In Gallup's research into human potential over the past 30 years, the evidence is overwhelming. You will be most successful in whatever you do by building your life around your greatest natural abilities, rather than your weaknesses. Your talents need to be your primary focus. And so here's an example. There's 2 groups of readers, and they took a speed reading class. The first group of readers were below average speed readers. They were reading about 100 words per minute. And the second group of readers had a natural ability, and they were reading at 400 words per minute. And the numbers don't quote me on those, but after they took a 6-week course, they were retested. And the below average speed readers, they increased their score, they doubled their scores, which I thought was really a pretty good improvement. But now the natural readers, they didn't just double their scores, they tripled and quadrupled their scores. But to me, this was a huge difference, and it showed me that no matter how much time and effort the below average person puts it into it, they're never going to get to the full potential of the natural ability person that can read fast. So hopefully after hearing this example, I've convinced you to stay focused on your strengths. But the problem with a lot of people is that you don't necessarily know what your top strengths are. So my suggestion is this book can help you figure that out. If you purchase the book in a bookstore or online, and there's also different books on like for teaching, and there's one on business. So there's different industries that you can get this from. There's an access code, and you can go online and take the assessment. It takes about 30 minutes, and then they'll immediately email you your top 5 talents. And they have 34 themes that they call them, And so they'll send you the top 5 out of the 34. And after you figure out what your talents are, and maybe for some of you already know what your talents are, and now you just need to develop these talents and ensure that you're using them every day. So here's some ways in which to build on your talents. Knowledge is simply what you know. You can acquire knowledge through education, college degree, training, or reading. Skills, and skills are basic abilities to move through the fundamental steps of a task. And you can acquire those through formal or informal training. So it's up to us to live out our strengths and to share them with others. Not only will you enjoy yourself, be happy and thriving, but others are going to benefit from it too. So earlier I had said not to ignore your weaknesses. You still may need to get some training on it just to at least get yourself to an average level. But by no means do you want to spend any length of time on this strength, on this weakness. Instead, you need to surround yourself with people that have this as their strength. And then it's a win-win situation. They can use their strength and you don't have to worry about your weakness. In building a business or an organization, you would want to surround yourself with people of different strengths. You don't want everyone to have the same top strengths. You want a diversity of strengths, and then that will be the key to success for your business or organization. A few weeks ago, our table topics was about sportsy competition, and I've heard a couple of you talk about how you got up here and you said that winning was everything to you. You would do whatever it took to win, that losing just wasn't an option. And hearing this, I actually took that competition would be one of your top 5 talents. And so my suggestion to you would be, in combination with your competitive strength, you need to work with your other 4 talents. And if you work together as that, you will become very successful. Each person has a different combination of the top 5 talents, and the combination will be unique to you. So everybody has a different road to success. Nobody will have the same pattern. Your strengths will be, so your strengths can be incorporated into any industry or career, but it's up to you to make sure that your next job, your next promotion is utilizing your true talents. I challenge all of you to figure out what your talents are and evaluate if you're using those talents in your everyday life. If you are not, figure out how you can make the necessary changes to incorporate your strengths in your life. My current main objective in life is to live out my strengths and share them with the world. I'm still in the process of figuring that out, but I do know I'm on the right track, and I will eventually get there. Thank you.